All right, so today we're going to talk about this very unique type of zinc called zinc L-carnosine, okay, for gut inflammation and gut disorders. This zinc complex is significantly better than any other forms of zinc for gut inflammation. It even works better than if you were to take zinc and L-carnosine separately, okay, so you'd want to take it as one supplement. It gives you major anti-inflammatory effects of the gut. Now, people normally take L-carnosine for the heart, for the brain, for your nerves, for your eyes, to help counter the side effects from diabetes. But zinc L-carnosine works very specifically to support the mucus barrier of your gut, okay? Because if you lose that mucus barrier, then microbes can invade into your lymphatic system and cross that barrier and create all sorts of immune reactions. So zinc L-carnosine can really help you support this mucus barrier of your gut. It also is very, very powerful for gut ulcers, stomach ulcers, ulcers in your duodenum, anywhere in your digestive tract. Why? Because it increases the wound healing. It's a major healer of ulcers. It's also good for GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disorder. That's where the acid comes up through that valve. Another thing it's good for is irritable bowel disease or irritable bowel syndrome, whatever you want to call it. Anything inflammation in the gut, this is the remedy that you want to take. It's also good for a leaky gut. If you have permeability issues, it's also good for inflammation in your esophagus. It's also good not just for inflammation in your small intestine and the large bowel, but your esophagus as well. And lastly, like I just said, it can increase GI wound healing. And so if you have any inflammation in your gut, this is the best remedy, zinc L-carnosine.
Carnosine is a food supplement. It is used in exercise physiology for improvement of exercise performance. And it is a dipeptide. It's a beta-alanine histidine, so two amino acids banked together in a dipeptide. So carnosine has been shown in animal studies to prevent and be useful in treatment of type 2 diabetes and also related chronic diseases. It has been shown to have anti-inflammatory properties, antioxidative properties, and anti-advanced glycation and product properties. These processes and mechanisms are very important for type 2 diabetes, as well as a lot of other chronic diseases related to diabetes, such as cardiovascular disease, neurodegenerative diseases, etc. The key findings were that carnosine improved fasting glucose, 2-hour glucose, HbA1c, which is a marker of glycemic control, and it improved also markers of inflammation, C-reactive protein, and malonylaldehyde, which is a marker of oxidative stress. There are a lot of challenges in preventing diabetes, but what relates to carnosine, the challenge is how to impact mechanisms of the diseases, because if we can impact the mechanism of the disease, we can prevent several risk factors of type 2 diabetes. And that's what carnosine offers through reduction in inflammation, oxidative stress, and advanced glycation. It can impact not only diabetes, but risk factors and diseases associated with type 2 diabetes. And in addition, carnosine is used as an exercise enhancer or improves exercise tolerance, which means that combined with exercise, we can potentially have greater effects on diabetes and other chronic diseases.
I'm David Tillman, author of nootropicsexpert.com. In this video, I'm going to share with you what I know about L-carnosine as a nootropic, what it is, why we use it, the science behind it, dosage, and side effects. L-carnosine is a dipeptide of the amino acids beta-alanine and histidine. Carnosine is found throughout your body. The highest concentrations are in high energy demand areas such as your brain, heart, and muscles. Now to start out with, don't mistake L-carnosine for L-carnitine. Now L-carnosine is known as a longevity molecule and targets several major processes in your brain and body. It removes heavy metals which accumulate in and damage brain cells, which causes diseases like Alzheimer's. And it prevents cross-linking of proteins, which cause the neurofibrillary tangles found in Alzheimer's. L-carnosine fights mitochondrial dysfunction by relieving oxidative stress caused by accumulation of free radicals in cells. Now, this not only works in your brain cells, L-carnosine is used by athletes to achieve better results. Its buffering nature contributes to the acid balance in muscles. Researchers have found L-carnosine restores neurotransmitter receptors that were damaged from stroke or glutamate toxicity. And L-carnosine reduces damage to telomeres. These caps on the end of DNA strands shorten each cell's replication. Now, this natural ongoing process is used, for example, in long-term potentiation to form memories. L-carnosine slows the shortening of telomeres. L-carnosine boosts brain health and function in several ways, but two in particular stand out. First, L-carnosine is critical for brain health. L-carnosine's antioxidant, neuroprotective, chelating, and anti-glycation activity not only maintains optimal brain health, this dipeptide can be used to prevent and treat neurodegenerative diseases, diabetes, and diseases of the sense organs like your eyes, and cancer. L-carnosine has been shown to reduce oxidative and glycemic stress, and it reduces inflammation. L-carnosine reduces the accumulation of B-amyloid plaque, which plays a role in cognitive dysfunction and in Alzheimer's. And it helps remove heavy metals that cross the blood-brain barrier and that accumulate in brain cells. And the second way L-carnosine helps the brain, it's required for your healthy mitochondria. In your brain, you've got tens of thousands of mitochondria in each neuron, and they pump out energy in the form of ATP. Now, 20% of your body's total ATP is located in your brain. Glycation during this energy production reduces the function and efficiency of mitochondria. This in turn can cause apoptosis or cell death. Glycation happens when proteins or DNA bond chemically to sugar molecules. These sugar molecules. There is a proven high correlation between human lifespan and L-carnosine levels. L-carnosine is highly concentrated in your muscles and brain and is directly involved in a number of life-extending activities. L-carnosine helps prevent the buildup of advanced glycation end products, or AGEs, that damage mitochondria and eventually end up in premature cell death. It is a heavy metal chelator and works by removing heavy metal accumulation in brain cells. L-carnosine is an antioxidant and pH buffer in muscle cells, preventing lactic acid buildup. When you supplement with L-carnosine, you'll notice younger looking skin, and you'll have more energy. You should experience a boost in cognition and decision-making capability. Thinking should be more fluid, and your motivation should see a boost. These changes are reported by neurohackers in their 20s and 30s, as well as the more senior neurohacker. But most of the talk and research on L-carnosine is on its anti-aging and longevity benefits. So what if I told you that it also helps fight the flu? It turns out that the flu virus raises nitric oxide and oxygen-free radicals, such as superoxide anion, NO and O2. When NO and O2 interact, they form peroxynitrate, the pathogen that causes pneumonia. The excess amount of toxicity in oxygen radicals generated overwhelms your immune system. A study in the American Journal of Therapeutics reports that L-carnosine can put a stop to this overwhelm and help you avoid or get rid of the flu or a cold. And eating chicken soup to make you feel better when you're sick is not an old wives' tale after all. Chicken soup is rich in L-carnosine. Now, we've got studies, plenty of studies in L-carnosine. The first one I've got here is L-carnosine improves cognition. Animal and human studies suggest that NMDA antagonists worsen executive function, and this dysfunction is often caused by glutamate toxicity. And if this persists, you end up with diseases like schizophrenia. Now, this double-blind, placebo-controlled study worked with 75 adults with schizophrenia. They were stable in their symptoms at the time of the study. The subjects were randomly selected to receive 2 grams of L-carnosine per day for 3 months. Executive dysfunction in memory, attention, and motor speed were assessed at the beginning and the end of 4 and 12 weeks. The L-carnosine group performed much better in executive function tests and were better at strategy with fewer errors than the placebo group. We've also got another study of how L-carnosine improves autism symptoms in children. And then I've got another study on L-carnosine and anti-aging. In 1965, Dr. Leonard Hayflick found that human cells have a limited capacity to divide, after which they become senescent. This is what's known as the Hayflick limit. Hayflick discovered that your cells go through 3 phases. The first is rapid cell division called mitosis. The second is where mitosis slows, and the third stage is senescence, where the cells stop dividing entirely. They remain alive for a while, and then they do a particularly disturbing thing. They commit suicide. This programmed cell death is called apoptosis. Now, this life cycle occurs throughout your body and its trillions of cells, including in your brain. But what if there was some way to slow down the programmed cell death? Well, it turns out there is. It's called L-carnosine. Researchers at Sydney Laboratory in Australia found that L-carnosine extended cell life. They put a cultured, aged human cells in a petri dish with carnosine, and the cells reverted back to juvenile cells. And when they put those same newly rejuvenated cells in a culture that had no carnosine, they reverted back to their old self again. Put them back into carnosine and they got young again. This experiment has been done again and again in labs around the world. Establishing L-carnosine is the best anti-aging thing since Ponce de Leon was searching for the fountain of youth right here in Florida, where I'm recording this video. David Guetta thinks that Miami is the sexiest city in the world. It could be that everybody in Miami is using L-carnosine. Recommended L-carnosine dosage is 1,000 milligrams a day. To keep a consistent level of L-carnosine in your body, split your dose into 2 500 milligram doses, one in the morning and one later in the afternoon. Now, one important note about L-carnosine. When you supplement with L-carnosine, it binds to aldehydes, preventing them from making proteins. The product they produce is called lipofuscin. The aging pigment, it's not dangerous, but it shows up as brown spots on your brain, your skin, and other organs. You know those age spots that you see on your skin? That's lipofuscin. So as lipofuscin builds up over time, and this process is accelerated when using L-carnosine, it can interfere with proper organ and cellular functions. It doesn't just look bad. Now, this is why I recommend stacking L-carnosine with DMAE and acetyl L-carnitine, or L-Car. DMAE is a naturally occurring nutrient that enhances, or is said to enhance, acetylcholine synthesis, and it helps get rid of lipofuscin. And L-Car boosts mitochondrial energy while acting as a neuroprotectant. Both DMAE and L-Car help flush lipofuscin from your brain and body. So stack your daily dose of 1,000 milligrams of L-carnosine with DMAE and L-Car at the recommended doses. L-carnosine is water soluble, so you don't need to take it with a meal or a healthy fat like some other nootropics. Carnosine is considered an extremely and non-toxic and safe nootropic. High doses can cause insomnia because L-carnosine it offers kind of like a stimulant effect. So take your second dose before evening. L-carnosine comes in powder, capsule, tablet, and liquid form. Most major supplement manufacturers offer 500 milligram tablets or capsules. But make sure that you read the labels and get L-carnosine in its natural form. Some manufacturers will try to fool you by calling their synthetic carnosine natural sounding names like Nature Identical. But lab-created L-carnosine is not the real thing and not nearly as bioavailable. So my nootropics expert recommendation for L-carnosine is 1,000 milligrams a day. And that's my report on L-carnosine. If you want to see links to the studies I talked about, go to nootropicsexpert.com and search for L-carnitine. Or just click on the link down below this video. There you'll find a full transcript of this video, and you'll find dozens of articles on all the well-known nootropics over on Nootropics Expert. If you have any questions or you want to share your experience using L-carnosine, please use the comment section at the bottom of the post over on Nootropics Expert. I respond to comments and questions at Nootropics Expert usually the same day. And if you want to see more videos on all the best nootropics used today, subscribe to this channel before you leave. I'll be putting up new videos on nootropics and optimizing your brain every week. I'm David Toman, author of Nootropics Expert.